Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm about to go throw baseballs to my son, but first I'm going to do this video. Now, as I told you in the last video, the government in India can't seem to make up their mind. If there's any government that baffles me, it's the government of India with regard to crypto. They have gone back and forth on we're going to ban it, we're not going to ban it. I can't tell you how many times, and today is no different. This morning, I showed you the CoinDesk article where they said that there was wording in there that acted like they were going to ban crypto, and then CoinDesk updates the article, updated with comments from another minister who said a complete crypto ban is not in the cards. So they've now changed their mind again. This has been going on for years. Okay, Bank XRP. Over 6,000 XRP holders volunteer as third-party defendants in SEC lawsuit. What this is, let me show it to you right here. Right here. XRP token holders have attempted to insert themselves as third-party defendants in the United States SEC lawsuit against Ripple Labs. A motion to intervene was filed by John Deaton of Deaton Law Firm on Sunday on behalf of over 6,000 XRP holders. Deaton himself, an XRP holder, argued that the interests of token holders were not being adequately represented in the securities lawsuit because Ripple Labs and its against Ripple Labs and its executives. Deaton's argument builds upon the refutation of any securities violations by Ripple Labs. Specifically, if XRP is not a security, as Ripple executives Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson claim, then the efforts of Ripple executives have no bearing on the performance of XRP. For this reason, Deaton, along with 6,000 concerned token holders, have moved to intervene as a third-party defendants. So, I'm not going to go any further into that, but this guy's on the ball. John Deaton's one of the good guys. So here's his lawsuit or the letter of explanation for, and this was to the Judge Torres. Okay, now CoinDesk put this out. Nearly $40 billion of the latest round of direct stimulus checks could be spent on Bitcoin and stocks, according to Mitsu Securities survey. And here's their little survey. It says the research by Mitsu estimates that of the $380 billion total, close to 10% could be used to purchase the two asset types, which would be Bitcoin and stocks. Okay, nearly 2 in 5 Americans expecting to receive checks in the coming days anticipated using a portion of them to invest, the company found. Bitcoin is expected to account for 60% of the total invested, which could add as much as 3% to the cryptocurrency's market value. So, pretty interesting stuff. We'll see what happens with that. Now, speaking of Bitcoin, there's a guy. His name is Kevin O'Leary. He goes as Mr. Wonderful on the TV show Shark Tank. He has been bashing crypto, specifically Bitcoin, for probably 3 years. Well, it turns out he was an actual owner during that whole time that he was bashing it. Listen to this.
So you suddenly like Bitcoin, Kevin. What happened?
Well, when facts change, I change. And what changed and what kept me out of, I actually owned personally crypto since 2017, but couldn't talk about it because.
So, as I've always said on this channel, watch what they do, not what they say, because not telling the truth about where their money is a way of life for these people. It's how they stay rich. And it's not just people, it's companies, the big companies. Brad Combs points out what I think is pretty obvious at this point. Why, if I didn't know any better, you would think the elite are pushing Bitcoin while government and central banks stockpile gold. I'm sure it's nothing, LOL. And this is an article about Poland's central bank wants to buy at least 100 tons of gold. And I've told you my theory on this before on this channel more than once. I believe Bitcoin was created for the purpose of making it look like a libertarian movement, to send the massive inflation that the governments of the world knew would be created by the money printing and the QE and the bailouts and all the different things that they knew they were going to do. Any of the inflation that escaped, they didn't want it to go to physical gold and silver because they hate you owning physical gold and silver. That's for the central banks. Thus, where do you send it? You send it into this proof of work digital asset Bitcoin. Meanwhile, for the next 10 years, you talk about how Bitcoin's for money laundering and terrorists and all of that. So you also, at the same time, you make the bad guys think this is a place they can hide their money when exactly the opposite is true, and you know it. You know you can track it. You can track it all the way back to where they live, and you know it. That, I believe, has always been the plan. And then when the time is right, since you know technologically Bitcoin cannot and will not be the tech, because it's a dinosaur, you know that it won't be the tech that takes you to the next step of this digital currency movement. What do? You slowly start to regulate it and maybe make some of the money escape to wherever you want it to escape. Meanwhile, providing regulatory clarity maybe for some of the digital assets that will be how this whole financial system is changed. Now, here I said that it was never Bitcoin. I want you to listen to what Kevin O'Leary says. He's talking about, we're seeing all these companies that are buying, not a lot of companies, it's a handful of companies that are saying, yeah, we're buying Bitcoin for our treasuries. Listen to what he says, because I've been telling you this. This is where all this climate change talk and all this stuff has not come out of nowhere. There is a plan, and all you got to do is use your common sense about what's coming. Listen.
But now I have this new concern because I've had a barrage of calls from institutional...
Remember, this is the same guy that for 3 years has been telling you how awful Bitcoin was while he owned it. He just admitted to it. So the question you need to ask yourself is this. He's now telling you he's pro Bitcoin. So the question is, a guy who has not told you the truth about the fact that he owned it for the last 3 years while he talked down about it. Guys like that, when they're talking about things, there's something else that they have cooking that they're actually doing. Talk is different than what they're doing. So the question is, while he's telling you this, what's he doing right now while he's talking up Bitcoin?
But now I have this new concern because I've had a barrage of calls from institutional clients asking me, wait a minute, Kevin, is this anywhere in O-Shares? And I'd say, no. This is my personal portfolio right now. We do not have any crypto inside of O-Shares. And why do you ask? And they're saying because we have to go through a checklist of the provenance of those coins. We are not going to support China mining. We're not going to support any coin mined in a country under sanction with the U.S. I mean, all of these different things that nobody ever thought about. And
we thought about them. You're just now showing up to the party. Now, here's the other thing, and this is another clip. How many times have we heard, I'll take you to the tweet that I tweeted, there's that word sustainable again. Where have I heard that? Ripple has been using that word, and words mean things. You know that if you listen to me. They've been using the word sustainable. Okay, sustainable in reference to climate. We hear this from the World Economic Forum. We hear this from all the powers that be. When they go to Davos, half of what they talk about is cryptocurrency. And I've always wondered, what does that have to do with money? Well, it has everything to do with money if you're going to digital assets, because you are not going to use a proof of work digital asset to change the world when it has a climate problem. Listen to what he says. Words mean things. He's saying sustainable for a reason.
Here's something you've got to get your heads around, okay? In most cases of the large institutions that I talk to, they have two committees to concern themselves with regarding crypto. Before it even gets to the investment committee, which would decide on an allocation, it has to go through the sustainability committee, because there's a whole new metric around The concerns people have around sustainability, about the origin of the coin. Was it mined in China? Is it mined in a country that's under tariff or restrictions with the U.S. government? All of these new provenance concerns, which were not on anybody's mind when crypto was simply the purveyor of the hedge fund or the retail investor, now it has to have a new standard. And now that standard is, where did it come from? How was it mined? Was it mined sustainably? How do I know I'm not supporting mining in a country where human rights are abused, like China? All of these issues are at the fore at the institutional client.
He has just introduced the concept that I've been talking about of corporate responsibility. These corporations, the second that these shareholders or anybody else starts pointing at these corporations and talking about the climate problems with Bitcoin, all of a sudden these corporations are going to say, wait a minute, whoa, we can't have this. And I added this little, I went and found a description of what a sustainability committee might be. If you look down in here, the role of the CSR manager by its nature cuts across business operations and support functions, also commonly known as the 3 Ps for people, planet, profit. This practice of taking into account not just business profits, but also social and environmental aspects of a company is increasingly valued by global companies today. A lack of sufficient backing from key decision makers to develop and sustain the company's efforts to improve its environment and social practices can often result in resistance from parts of the business required to report or implement change. You see where this is going, folks? This is a problem, and it's going to get, and they're starting to talk about it, and it's not just in this. Remember the NFTs? What are they building NFTs off of as of right now? That's Ethereum. That's proof of work Ethereum, which has the same climate problems that Bitcoin has, okay? Well, today you got this. DC Comics launches Batman-themed NFTs, warns developers from copying its characters. So there's DC Comics, a company. And then look at this. So James Rule tweets this out. NFTs, energy. When XRPL NFTs, remember they announced last week that the Flare network is going to support NFTs on the XRP ledger, right? The climate controversy swirling around NFTs. Folks, do you think all these things about climate are suddenly pouring out about proof of work and people willing to say it? Right here. Go down to here. Right in here. But here's why there's probably a hell of a lot of greenhouse gas emissions tied to NFTs. They're largely bought and sold in marketplaces like Nifty Gateway, and super rare that use the cryptocurrency Ethereum. Ethereum, like most major cryptocurrencies, is built on a system called proof of work that is incredibly energy hungry. There's a fee associated with making a transaction on Ethereum, and ironically that fee is called gas. Proof of work acts as a sort of security system for cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and Bitcoin, since there's no third party like a bank that oversees transactions. And then as you go down, it says they're solving puzzles. They've got miners, and then as you go down, when someone makes a buy or sells an NFT using Ethereum, they're responsible for some of the emissions generated by those miners. What's still up for debate is whether the NFTs are significantly increasing emissions from Ethereum or if they're taking on responsibility for emissions. In other words, do you see this nightmare forming, folks? This is all coming, and I don't think it's a coincidence that it's all coming out at once. Okay, I told you I've been looking into this Kava platform. This has got me interested right now. And this part I haven't talked about yet. It's one of Kava's products, and when you go to their website, which is kava.io, and it's also in the description of my video here, but they've got one product called the Hard Protocol, the world's first cross-chain money market. Lend, borrow, and earn with your crypto. Now you can connect your wallet. I've showed you this on their other product the other day, your Trust Wallet or Ledger. And then down here is what I was going to show you about right here is your hard rewards. Well, they've got these awesome videos I've been watching. I wanted to show you this one.
Hard Protocol is the world's first cross-chain money market that allows you to lend, borrow, and earn with your crypto. Let's go through each step of claiming rewards on Hard. Navigate to the Hard Money Market web app at hard.kava.io and make sure that you connect your Trust Wallet app. If you need help with that, you can check the Kava 101 videos on that topic. Hard reward claims accrue every block. You may claim your Hard rewards as frequently as you like. Scroll down to the Hard Rewards section, press Claim. You may select a 1-month or 12-month lockup period for your claimed Hard. 12-month Hard claims come with a bonus. Note, you can enter an optional transaction fee paid in Kava, which may increase processing time. Once your Hard claim transaction is processed, you can view your total claimed Hard balance. Press Expand to view your exact unlock schedule. Note, claimed Hard balances are locked for the period of time you specify. Claimed Hard become unlocked on the 1st or 15th of each calendar month. At the time of Hard claim, your claimed balance will be automatically rolled into the next available period and then have the lock period applied. Example, if you perform a Hard claim October 21st with a 1-month lock period, your claim will be rolled to the November 1st period. Then have the 1-month lock period applied such that your claimed Hard will unlock December 1st.
So anyway, this is cool. This Kava platform is really cool, and I'm the weekend got away from me, but this week I'm going to set myself up with that. So that I don't know which route I'm going to go yet, but I'm going to set that up and start trying to get my reward. Okay, this came out today. The GameStop incident has increased calls for real-time equities settlement. Charlie Cooper, managing director at Insight at R3 and former COO at the CFTC, explains in Bloomberg Law Insight that tech now exists to offer better settlements options. You think it does? This guy, by the way, Charlie Cooper, he's the guy that's Chief Communications Officer at R3. Interesting resume. He was at State Street. Remember, State Street is one of the largest investors in SBI Holdings, which SBI Holdings is the largest outside shareholder in both Ripple and in R3, and has made a commitment to make sure that XRP becomes the standard. How about them apples? And this guy was from the CFTC. Before that, United States Department of Defense. What do you know? Lastly, I want to show you this. Let's do a refresh. Look at what the Flare IOUs are doing. This thing right here is getting more and more interesting, folks. It's at $1.22 right now. I'm going to write that down. We're going to use that. $1.22 Flare. These are IOUs. Everybody, there's a lot of anticipation as to when the actual supply, since it's going to be come out in a limited fashion. I believe it's supposed to, the first part of it's supposed to come out in around June. For one, I've talked to several people, and I don't know anybody who's planning on selling their Flare when this comes out. So it makes you wonder what's going to happen to that price when the actual supply comes out. I tell you what. David Schwartz said something a long time ago, something to the effect of you don't want to miss out on the next Ethereum. I often ask myself the question, is Flare the next Ethereum? There's a title. Is Flare the next Ethereum? Because I think that I think Flare is going to end up being what Ethereum was supposed to be and was not able to accomplish because of the scaling issues, and now they're going through the disaster of changing over to Ethereum 2.0. I believe, you know what I've always believed? We know that Vitalik Buterin slept on Stefan Thomas's couch. I've always pictured this like Vitalik Buterin went over there and heard a few things, and like a guy who slipped out the back door and said, hey, I know what I can do now. And he went off to start Flare. And I believe that the joke's on Vitalik Buterin. I believe that Ripple had the plan for Flare, or what was Codius. Maybe Flare is what Codius was. But I believe that they had this plan from day freaking one. And that Flare is the smart contract platform. And it is the next Ethereum. But it's Ethereum 3 or 4.0. Okay? I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that I am going to throw baseballs to my